And welcome to this week's special expert interview. And I'm delighted to be with Kevin Sharma from Doc.It. Kevin, good day to you.
Good to see you, Rob. How you doing?
Kevin, we're fantastic. It's lovely to have you as a sponsor of the show. We really appreciate that. And all because of you that our listener figures are going through the roof. So we appreciate that. Kevin, you've appeared on the show before, but for people that haven't come across you, just tell us really quickly about your role there at Doc.It.
Yeah, I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at Doc.It. We're based in and around the Toronto, Canada area. I've been with the firm about 9 years, working with firms of all sizes from, the beginning 3 users to several hundred, 300, 400. So speak to, about 100 firms or so every couple of weeks and get different perspectives on what they're dealing with from a technology perspective.
That's great. We're going to tap into some of that today, but just kick off for us by explaining, if you would, what in your view separates the good accounting firms and the good accountants from the great ones, because there's a lot going on right now, isn't there?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to approach this from a technology perspective because that's kind of the hat I wear, but I'm going to have to say that it's probably the partner or the manager, the person on top, that kind of separates one firm from the next. From a technology perspective, they have to have willingness to change or adapt or move to technology. I don't think that there's many competitive advantages that firms can really gain in the industry, but technology is definitely one of them. Having the right tool set, being as efficient as possible, is one of them, and just having that willingness to change. I've had firms a number of times over the years, and it's funny where like they would have a partner that really, they're ready to retire and they don't want to make any changes to the way they do things.
Yeah.
But that will limit the people and the people under you and the firm under you. So yeah, it starts from the top. Definitely, those guys have to be willing to look at and explore and spend some money on technology.
I couldn't agree more with that. And with the interviews we do with experts all over the world for the show, we ask them what the best firms are investing in to come out of COVID faster, bigger, stronger. And the two things are people and technology. And you'll appreciate technology is moving so fast. Some firms are dragging their heels. Some partners just want to pay out and want to leave. They don't want to deal with the culture change, the new investments in technology. Are you seeing a bit of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got the top guy that's been in the firm for 30 years, and then you want to recruit new faces, but you got the millennial, I guess you would say, coming in at the bottom, and there's kind of completely clashing perspectives on technology and processes and things like that, and the way that they work. So yeah, definitely the technology side, and then the people side is huge.
Yeah, we did a interview recently with Steve Cox of Iris Global Software, and Doc.It are part of that group now, as we know. And he was saying that one of the challenges that accounting firms are facing is lack of resources. Now, that comes out in so many ways. Do you want to speak into that a little bit? Because you've done a lot of work on this, haven't you?
Yeah. So we joined the Iris group maybe 3 months ago. So we're excited about all the changes that have been occurring in a positive way. But yeah, absolutely. Resources, whether it's just deadline overkill. It's like you got one deadline, then you get the next deadline, then you get the next deadline, and it's really hard to think about, oh, I got a deadline, I just finished it, now let's switch gears and implement some new technology in my next 6 weeks before my next deadline. Is that going to happen? No. It's kind of, especially the last 2 years with COVID, it's exhaustion, it's overwork, deadlines have been added, they've been moved, and it's energy draining. And it is also, I think, affecting accounting firms or accountants' mental health in a way. Not only accountants, everybody actually. I think just being cooped up at home, not having the ability to take a vacation and relieve some of that stress, and change your surroundings. I actually had one firm. I remember going to visit this firm in person. We don't do many in person, but a few years ago we did it in person. And she bought our software, and I started following her on LinkedIn. Like you connect with the partner, and then just about a year ago, I noticed that she's no longer an accountant. She started selling. What do you call it? Toys, kids' toys. She totally switched industries and started selling kids' toys. And there's a lot of posts about from her about, just the mental health and dealing with the deadlines that she was facing, and she couldn't handle the stress, and it was a lot, and she feels a lot freer in her current state, and doing what she's doing, something she's less stressed about. So going back to your question, yeah, definitely lack of good people. I don't know if you know Randy Johnson, and he does the AFOT survey in the US there. And for the last 5 years, maybe longer, the number one issue that has been pointed out by firms is recruiting and retention. Getting the right people, keeping the people that you do get, and just that's the people and the deadlines has been
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yes, Steve talked a lot about the overwhelming demands placed on people, and the clients are putting a lot of those demands on them. The technology is putting a lot of demands on those accountants, the regulatory demands, that's increasing in volume and complexity, the recruitment things that you've touched on, the service delivery, the capacity. There's so much going on for accountants. And do you get a sense, Kevin, of real burnout and fatigue and busyness with accountants that you speak to?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just the firms that I speak to. I was reading Reddit the other day as well, and I'm seeing a lot of forums about burnout and exhaustion and overwork. And there's this whole, I don't know if so much it's in the accounting industry, but the great resignation, I've heard that term thrown around. A lot of people are leaving their jobs and looking for something that better suits their lifestyle and their mental health. And I'm seeing some of that in people I talk to, and just reading forums and such online.
What's the link for you, Kevin, between mental well-being, mental health, and technology? Because they're intertwined, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that the right tools can make your day smoother, can make you more efficient, working, not working as hard, but working smarter. That's an old adage that's been said, but it's yeah, you want to be able to just have it, rather than doing things manually or inefficiently. You can get more done with the right tools, and you can get it done quicker, faster, smarter.
Mm.
So definitely that helps.
Do you just want to put your pen down, Kevin? I don't know if you're fiddling with something there, but it's coming over on the microphone. Or are you playing with
Oh, I
something?
actually I don't have a pen. It might be the mic. Maybe moving my
Okay.
headphones there. I'll
Okay.
try to hold it up like this.
That's
Maybe.
all right. We'll get our editor Paul to go through that. So I'm just going to pick up on your last point and talk a little bit more about the technology. So little pause. But the thing with technology, Kevin, it is supposed to help, but accountants often say it's the technology that's giving me overload. There's so many apps, so many platforms, so many channels, so many decisions to make. It's turning me into a geek, and I didn't sign up to be a geek. I'm a financial professional. I'm a trusted advisor. I'm just about developing my personal skills. Now you're asking me to go crazy with my technological skills. And it is knowing how to do more than turn a computer on and off, but
Mhm.
we can't expect them to be everything, can we?
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got to lean on the people, your colleagues, your team, your staff, even the associations of the industry people that you're with. Not everybody is, super into technology, or understands it well. My mother has a retail store. She's 60, 70 years old, and getting a website going for her and inventory management is a challenge. So totally different industry, but the same applies. Not every, like, she's leaning on me. You got to lean on the people around you to help with where you may need help with, where you might be
Yeah,
weaker in.
true enough. So what do you see the good firms doing? What's really working for the successful firms? Where are the opportunities for them, Kevin?
I think there's a number of areas, but you got to stay ahead of the curve a little bit on technology, and just reevaluate what you're doing every 3 to 4 years in terms of technology. Make sure you're using the right tools, and that the tool that you are using, are you leveraging all of the pieces that are available? Are you getting the best value out of it? Does it talk or integrate with the other pieces that you're using? A lot of firms will, buy software, they'll use it really well, and then they'll get stuck into this rut of using it the same way for the next 10 years. But that software company is developing, they're adding pieces to that software. Are you taking advantages of those? You're paying for it. Are you taking advantage of the tools that they're building to help you? If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards, because
Yeah.
even if you're doing nothing, the competitors around you are doing something, and then they're getting ahead of you. So you got to really stay on top of every few years. I mean, it's not that doesn't have to be an annual thing.
Is it easy to make a strong connection between investment in and adoption of technology and revenues, Kev?
I think it can be a little challenging to track time savings and things like that. We've always tried at Doc.It to do a little ROI calculator, and it can be a challenge. How much paper have you saved and time have you saved walking from here to there? And a lot of these softwares, really, though, if you're saving 5 to 10 minutes a day times the number of per person times the number of staff that you have, you're likely, a lot of these softwares pay for itself
Mm.
and then some. So
And going back to the mental well-being, if you are saving time, what can you do with that time? You can spend it on yourself, can't you? Spend it with your children, bring in some work-life balance.
yeah, absolutely. Spend it on the things that make you feel good, make you feel better, and make you de-stress a little bit. And go to the gym, spend it with your kids.
Yeah.
There's so many ways. Go for a walk. There's lots of ways you can spend that. I'm sure people won't have a problem spending less time at work and more time, with things at family.
Well, even freeing up time at work to do those discretionary things like having chats with clients off the clock, doing some business development, building your own personal brand, profiling, working on LinkedIn, creating some content. That all happens in the nooks and crannies, if you like, of an accountant's life between the fee earning time, those
Yeah.
billable hours. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Even from my perspective, if I can free up an hour or half an hour of my day, I can spend that time looking at other opportunities for firms, to help firms with our software.
Mm. How have you seen firms change over the COVID period, Kevin? We know there's been a lot of disruption. It seems that accounting firms have been a little bit more agile than we may have given them credit for. They've adapted fairly well, but what have you noticed about how they've changed and maybe how they're winning work or how they're going about things?
Yeah, I definitely think COVID changed the game for the industry. Everybody's doing a little bit more advisory work. People are working remotely, which they weren't previously. They're not seeing their clients, and they can still, there might be a little less of a customer service not seeing their clients, and it can be a little bit more transactional based, but they can be a lot more efficient, getting things done the way that they would like to. Just I'm going to use our portal as an example. The use of that has exploded because it has exploded more in the last 2 years than it has the 4 years prior to that, because of the demand that COVID has pushed on not being able to see people in person and just sharing documents with them. So then there's also a lot of merger acquisition activity that's been happening. A lot of the smaller firms getting bought up and being acquired by the larger firms, and yeah, just they were quick to change. They had no choice, and then they switched gears pretty quickly.
You mentioned the A word there, Kevin, advisory, and that is where it's going. Technology is helping us automate a lot of the compliance functions, which is freeing up accountants to do a lot more of the interesting project-based work, consulting work, whatever you call it, management reporting and beyond. So are you seeing accountants enjoying the possibility of more work like that?
I think so. I think that they're enjoying the change of service, the change of pace, a little
Less
bit
of a
different.
grind, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit different from the norm. So I think sometimes people don't like change, but sometimes people love change. So I think that having that little change in their daily routine and in the work that they do on a day to day is nice, and I think they are enjoying it.
Yeah. If they are enjoying it, are we seeing that more people will want to come into the accounting profession to see it as a desirable career? Because we've had talks in the past on this show about more people are leaving the profession perhaps than coming into it, or the younger generations don't want to come into a job where they're tied to a desk for 10 to 15 years and they can maybe make partner. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if things like that change, you do different things. It's not all the same kind of cookie cutter all the time. You have a little bit more fun in your role. Then you'd probably see more more of the younger generation wanting to get into the job, into the role, into the industry. So yeah, if it continues to change at that pace, I see it slowing down a little bit now that kind of COVID's phased out, not completely gone, but yeah, I definitely see that that change could benefit the recruiting aspect of the younger generation.
What's not slowing down though, Kevin, is the pace of technological change. We talk a lot about digitalization or digitization, if you like, and some firms are still lagging behind on that. So is technology driving the way the profession is going, or the clients driving that? Where's that coming from?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like and I think there's a lot more technology advancements because of the demand from accounting firms
Right.
through like the COVID years, or through just not being able to see their clients through portal technology. Like we've advanced our portal, for example, just a lot because of customer demand. So the customer drives us, but we also build the tools that drive the customer as well. So it's kind of like a little bit of both, I think. Yeah, definitely that.
And are you seeing, let me ask a better question. Paul can edit this bit. So do you see some bad advice being put out there, Kevin? Some bad doctrine, some myths? Because there's a lot of hype around at times like this.
I don't know if I've seen. I think the worst piece that that reoccurs that I've heard from either the accountant or the partner is I don't want to change. Call me back in 4 years when I retire. I think that's bad. It's a bad decision. That's bad advice. I've heard it more than once, and the rest of the firm might see the benefit, but like I said earlier, the partners don't want to change, and that kind of it stops the firms in its tracks. It slows them down. I guess you can call them technophobes, but it really just limits the progress of the firm, and I think that's bad advice from their upper management or their partner. Like, I don't want to change. Let's do this when I retire. Let's just call me back. Call the firm back when I retire, kind of thing.
Sure.
And I've heard it like, I hear it like three to five times a year. So
you've
it's not.
seen the hiring policy change of firms that want to recruit more talent or even retain talent. What are they doing to bring in the right people to drive this growth and recovery?
I think that. Sorry, repeat that question for me, Rob.
It's
About the
question
hiring
8 on the
policy.
list, Kevin. I'm just going through the questions you wanted me to go through on the list. It's number 8.
Yep.
It's,
Yep.
I'll ask you it again, though, if you want.
Yeah, please just set me up again.
So are you seeing a change in the hiring policy of accounting firms, Kevin, that want to bring in this talent? They want to grow, they want to stand out, but obviously that needs the right people and enough of them.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing some. I've talked to some accountants that they from a technology perspective, they do ask now more about the tools that candidate is familiar with, so they can benefit and learn from their experience. Because I've had firms that the accountant is working at firm A, and they're using a lot of tools, and they're like, okay, the grass is greener on the other side, let's go to firm B. And then they get in there, and then they see the technology is a little bit behind, and nobody wants to go behind in their work, and they feel like they're going a step backwards. So those candidates, they're not going to be happy. A lot of them are asking, what tools are you using in your firm? Are you still using a fax machine, even paper based, things like that? And that happens, and people don't want to take those step backwards. I saw a firm that was acquired, and they were using Doc.It, and then at the new firm they were using a different program, which was a good program, but he was trying to get more change and more advancement. And within 2 years, even though he was the partner and acquired, he said, I'm not going to be at this firm anymore. I'm going to switch off to start my own practice again, and take a couple people with me, because the technology wasn't there. So I think that whole thing, the whole hiring policy, all that has to do with the recruitment and just keeping your people on board, getting new people and keeping them there for 5 years or 10 years, and talking to them about a succession plan, and showing them that there is an opportunity for advancement in the firms, and not just being stagnant.
We had Geraldine Carter on the show recently. Geraldine, Kevin, of course, and we were talking about pricing, and I was asking her, what advice would you give to younger accountants that want to change the way their firm prices? and negotiates and puts packages together for clients. What would you say to them who are pushing against a hierarchy of legacy pricing and time-based pricing? And her answer was really one word: leave. And translating that to your technology situation, this is your world. Would you say something similar to the accountants that are struggling with legacy technology, old technology, an inability or an unwillingness of a firm to move forward with tech? That doesn't attract people. What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's a good one. I would say, try first before just leaving. Make the effort to maybe the firm that you just joined that's not technologically there needs that help to get there. So maybe you can help them if you're coming up against a wall after trying for a year or two and you feel like you're slowing down your own personal growth, and then yeah, maybe that's not the right firm for you. Maybe it's time to leave.
Yeah. When you talk to accounting firms and accountants, you hear a lot of their frustrations, Kevin, as much as anything. And some of those Doc.It will be able to solve, some of them they won't, but you're just an ear to listen to and a shoulder to cry on. What tends to come out most when they're having a good old moan and a rant and a bitch and a whine?
They complain a lot about some of the programs that they're using just not moving forward, and they're unhappy with that. That they want more. They want everybody wants to implement technology, but nobody actually wants to implement it. It's like they want to
Everybody
change, but
wants CRM, but nobody wants to use it, right?
exactly. You want the technology, but nobody really wants to go. There's a little bit of a process change and a pain of change, right? And nobody wants to get involved. But usually you can find 2-3 people in the firm, hopefully, that are like, they love technology and they want to advance it and they want to be involved in the implementation process. So you got to lean on those folks to help advance the firm.
And what frustrates you personally about the profession, the industry, whatever you want to call it?
Remaining stagnant, drinking, I guess, the Kool-Aid that, this is the best tool for me because I was told this is the best tool for me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a little frustrating. It's hard to sell against beliefs that aren't necessarily true, but they've just been fed that this is the right one, this is the best tool. So that's for me, for trying to introduce our new technology, that can be a little frustrating from our perspective.
And do you advocate to clients the full big box, full suite that does everything, all singing, all dancing, one-stop shop, or a variety of apps that hopefully integrate together that do the best-in-class jobs?
I think best in class is what I advocate for. There are some benefits to the one suite, one approach, but then there also are not. Do you want to have all your eggs in one basket? One problem with one piece of their software. Will you have the same? You still have to use the other pieces of the software, and you're kind of stuck. And it's kind of like where I'm at from a different industry. We have Rogers internet, and cable, and TV and cell phone all in one, and it's like you have a problem with them, and then where do you go? You got to get best of breed, the smaller maybe internet provider, break it up, and then there can be cost savings too with the best of breed, and so yeah, I definitely think best of breed is a better approach. Sure. Personally.
And finally, Kevin, as we draw to a close, people that don't know what Doc.It do, tell us really quick how you help accounting firms.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So we do document management, workflow, web portals. We have a very unique PDF editor, just to help firms manage their documents from beginning to end and just be as efficient as possible.
There are a few out there that do that. What makes Doc.It a little different and a little better?
Customer service, definitely 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row, customer service awards. We got a great team. It's the people that really, software is the people. So it's the people behind the team. We actually probably one of the best values in the industry for what you get and what you pay with Doc.It. And then we have some unique pieces in our software that not many others have, like our PDF editor firms love. So there's a few things that you can definitely benefit from using Doc.It.
And you're in North America, you're coming into the UK and Europe now and spreading all over the world. What challenges or red flags, pain points might an accountant be having for them to warrant a conversation with you guys?
I think that the
You can
red
take that
flags.
question out if you want.
Yeah, yeah, take it out. We'll
Okay,
take
we'll
it
do
out.
that. All right, I'm going to
I
ask people
paused
how
there.
to, that's all right. I'm going to ask people how to get in touch with you, Kevin. And then I'll ask you for a final bit of advice you'd want to give to the accountants listening, particularly the younger ones coming through the ranks, if they want to manage the career, look after the mental health, anything like that. So just be distilling your final thoughts, okay?
Sure.
So Kevin, if people want to have a conversation with you, find out more about what you do and pick your brains on a few things, what's a good way for them to reach you?
Just check out our website, www.doc-it.com, Doc.It.com. If you go to the wrong website, you'll get a wine website, Doc.It. It's an Italian wine website. That's not us. We're the software vendor.
It's probably not such a bad thing though. These days of mental
Hey,
health and unwinding and getting
they go
work-life
together.
balance. Yeah.
Rob, something that we've been doing to try to help, because we can't really interact with our clients that much. We host wine events. We do
Right.
2 a year, one in the US and one in Canada, and it's virtual, and they do a wine tour. We invite some of our great clients and prospects, and they do a virtual wine tour of the winery. We ship them 4 bottles of wine, or 3 or 4 with cheese, and it's an hour and a half. They're learning about, it's something you're trying during COVID, and it was pretty cool event we've done for the last 2 years to let them relax a little.
That's great. There's no wonder you're winning customer service awards, Kevin, with initiatives like that. And just finally, leave us, would you, with some words of advice or support or encouragement to the accountants listening that perhaps are feeling a little bit burnt out, a little bit jaded, fatigued. They want to get a bigger grasp on their mental well-being, mental health amidst this onslaught of technology that we're in.
Lean on the people around you, whether it's the vendors, the people on your team, your family. Let them help you deal with that mental health. Find outlets for the issues that you're facing. So you're not alone. There are people that are willing to help and listen. So definitely feel free to speak to others.
That's great. Kevin Sharma, thanks so much for your time and your insights today. That's been great.
Thanks so much, Rob.
You've been watching or listening to the Accounting Influencers podcast featuring hosts Rob Brown and Martin Bissett with key interviews, what's working in the accounting profession, and news from the accounting and fintech world that helps you do your jobs better. We go out to 144 countries, over 20,000 unique listeners with 100,000 downloads, and it is accredited for continued professional education and development. Thank you for tuning in.